Excuse me. Do you know why we pulled you over today? Do you know why? Exactly. It's because you're not subscribed to the channel. So you either fix that right now, or we're gonna have to take you in! I mindlessly scroll too much. Yeah, same. There we go. Apple's A15 chip faster than company's own claims in independent tests. So this is very interesting. I find this very interesting. I tweeted about this. Here we go. Interesting trend where Apple continues to be vague about / underestimating the performance of their chips. On stage, that's what I meant, on stage. They did the same with the M1, where I don't know if you guys remember that they had this extremely vague flippin' graph up, which was so interesting, but it gave me such a weird feeling. And then when I actually used the device, because I was already expecting performance boost, because they did talk about performance boosts, right? So I was expecting the performance boost, but then it was extreme to the next level, something that they didn't really give me the impression of. And I feel like it caught so many people by surprise, right? Even Linus Tech and MKBHD and all these people talking about it, I feel like I could tell in their videos that they were excited already about this technology, right? To see the technology at least, and that they were pleasantly surprised that it was beyond their expectations. And everyone's expectations, if you look at how much further ahead the M1 was as a chip that only uses so much power. It's crazy. It was extremely vague, and nobody expected / fully understood the performance gains from the M1 after the official announcement or presentation. So I feel like it is so weird to me. And now they did the exact same thing with the A15. I feel like the announcement of the A15 was vague as well, and it was very interesting to see how they tackled the new way of presenting the performance gains, and was 50% faster than the competition. What competition? Are we talking about the Intel competition? Are we talking about desktop computers? Qualcomm? Like Exynos? Huawei has their own, what is it? Canon? I don't know, something. So I don't understand. Maybe all the competition? And now it seems to be the exact same thing, right? In this article, as you can see, and that I quoted there as well, the Apple's A15 chip faster than the company's own claims in independent tests. Apple's new iPhone 13 series features its latest A15 Bionic processor, which the company says is 50% faster than the competition. That vague claim was the entry point for Anatac's investigation into the chip's performance, efficiency, and graphics scores improvement, and the review's conclusions easily back it up. Okay, compared to the competition, the A15 isn't 50% faster, as Apple claims, but rather 62% faster. While Apple's larger cores are more power hungry, they are also a lot more energy efficient. Two new CPU microarchitectures featured in the A15, both for the 2 performance cores and the 4 efficiency cores, which are likely made on a 5 nanometer plus process, which TSM refers to as N5P. A performance enhanced version of the 5 nanometer process that allows for higher maximum frequencies. Okay. On top of this, Anantag notes that A15 system cache has been boosted to 32 megabytes, which is double the system cache compared to the A14. This doubling dwarfs the competition and is a key factor for power efficiency of the chip. Being able to keep memory accesses on the same silicon rather than going out to the slower and more power inefficient DRAM. Apple A15 performance scores are extremely impressive. Usually increases in performance always come with some sort of deficit in efficiency, or at least flat efficiency. Apple here instead has managed to reduce power whilst increase performance, meaning energy efficiency is improved by 17% and peak performance on peak performance states versus A14. It sounds to me like, if I just translate this to something that is more understandable to the general public, like the stupid streamer that I am, this means that usually when performance updates like these happens, it's very hard to make the chip more efficient than the chip that was a little bit slower. But Apple managed to do both at the same time, about 17% more energy efficient, while still being 62% faster than the competition, and also a little bit faster than the A14 from last year. So that is definitely interesting. I am definitely very surprised that Apple went for these kinds of marketing, right? On stage, they didn't really show this, at least not to me. I don't know if you guys had that feeling, but for me, it felt kind of like they were quite hyped about it, when 50% is a lot. But they touched on it and then moved on. And usually they show an entire, it's literally like 10-15 minutes, at least for me, feeling-wise, feels like that they talk about it a really long time. This time they didn't really talk about it that much, in contrast to the M1, right? Because that was a long presentation about the performance gains, but it didn't really say much. And this year, although it said something, it wasn't even true. It's literally an underestimate, and then it is then like literally just talked about for a few minutes. So it's so interesting to me. The games aren't using the 55% GPU gains. Oh yeah, that was also something. I feel like over the A14, there were also performance gains in GPU, in graphics. Yeah, I can imagine that these games are still not taking advantage of it, because it's obviously hard to optimize your game for one specific chip, while all the other phones are not there yet. There's no reason to do that, since even the iPhone 13 install base, although it is big, it's just like, as a game developer, you're like, let's wait until Qualcomm comes out with something as powerful or close to it. And you also want to make sure that, for example, the iPad and everything is upgraded as well, so that if you do have these graphical upgrades, that everyone can enjoy them and not just people that have the latest phone, right? I think that's a problem that computers have for a long time, and yeah, I think it's the same problem that smartphones are going to have as well, at least if you ask me. Apple is definitely changing their marketing. I noticed it too. Yeah, it's definitely changing, dude. Like this, what I was mentioning here, this is something that they definitely did on purpose, and no one is going to convince me otherwise.